Hi everybody. Welcome to Tuesday nights Ask Me Anything session. Um, yeah, literally, we're starting tonight. I've got a couple of questions that we're going to go through. That thank you to those of you that sent them in. I think you'll find them super useful. Regarding about how do you keep people entertained during a looping show when you're building a lot of loops. And also, Craig's asked for a dance list, keeping the dance floor going with some live looping. So we we will get into it during tonight. But I wanted to start off tonight's Ask Me Anything session. You can probably feel it that I'm kind of like, okay, right, we're live, it's happening, because I feel like I haven't really stopped at the moment. And hey Michael, welcome along, man. Nice to have you here. Partly I haven't, so that could be partly why. But also it's this interesting thing I think of performing live, and I'm still figuring out the balance as well of juggling how many shows I should do, how many like what's the combination of shows that I enjoy versus when I get offered different things, trying to make them work. And I've had a really fun weekend, but let's put it this way: I played and sang for 5 hours on Saturday, two different shows, and 6 hours with a half-hour kind of gap in between on Sunday. And it was fun, but I'm spent, and I haven't played today. I did a few little vocal things, which I find really useful to get my voice working again after a lot of shows. Just to what's the word? Not to get it working again, but to allow it to relax and flow rather than being in performance mode. So yeah, just curious. I kind of just wanted to start there. I don't have the right answers necessarily, but I am enjoying the fun game of figuring out what's the best combo for me, and it is a little bit part of why you'll see sometimes on the Tuesday sessions I'm not it's not a good day for me to try and be singing a lot of times if I've had a really busy weekend. So apologies. But as we talked about last week, I'm going to tee up we'll do a live YouTube show and put that in the mix of the schedule, which would be really fun. Hey everybody. I'm how do I pronounce your name? Joao? I never know with a J. Is it Spanish, my friend? You might have to help me pronounce it. Hey Paul, how's it going? Hi David, I'm interested in your change to your rig. No VL3 equals no vocal harmonies. Yes, correct. Do you have a plan for this, or just not doing harmonies? I love your work, by the way. Hey Paul, I do have... That's better. I do have a plan for this, and that plan is a couple of options I've been looking at. Oh, Brazilian, nice. I've been looking at a couple of options, and what I think I will go with is the Harmony GXT. And there's two reasons. There's a couple of things I like about it. I had it before, for some of you know. And one thing I like is I can switch between two separate patches, if you like. So I can have an A and a B with it. So this harmony and then the next harmony without set up without having to press buttons, which is interestingly something the Voice Live 3 doesn't do super well. You basically have to map a new patch with a different vocal to be able to do that, and not ideal during the song. So that's on my radar. I there's a few things out there, and there's a lot of vocal pedals that have improved recently. But more than the harmonies, what I actually want is the octave. And so I would go and get the Harmony Singer, which is another TC Helicon pedal 2, Harmony Singer 2. But they dropped off the octave pedal, and it's gone into all these individual pedals, which are great. But again, a lot of those, and so a lot of their pedal range now for vocals are like an individual effects pedal for like a telephone, a distortion, different things. That's one pedal. They have brought their tone compression and a de-esser in a pedal. They have a harmony pedal, but again, I might as well put the VL3 back in the mix, right? But what I'm finding is, one of the things I enjoyed when I switched from the VL3 was I actually feel like I got a different tone back through my guitar. So it's one of the things that surprised me. But I'd been playing with the VL3 for so long that I was just very used to the sound, and that's what it was. And I was happy with the sound. I had a good sound from it. But it's sometimes funny when those things change. Suddenly you enjoy something a little bit different. So in terms of the harmony thing, Paul, it's something I used pretty lightly. My harmonies were pretty subtle, but I do miss it. There's definitely some songs and some spots, and I'm just like, that would just be so nice to fill up a solo show. The flip side of that, of course, is it's one less button and pedal to stand on, when you're launching into a chorus and you want, which actually, when you're launching into a chorus and you want everything to come in nicely with a harmony, maybe a slightly different guitar tone, it's something that Voice Live 3 does very, very well. You can program a preset or a step function to have all that change beautifully on time. So I do miss that. And depending on what PA and what system I'm going through, I do miss having just that presence compression and some of the little nice touches that the Voice Live 3 or a vocal effects processor has. But a lot of those, again, depending on what desk you're using, a lot of those you'll be able to put compression on a desk now and use it. So I hope that kind of answers things, Paul. I'm looking forward to actually filming a bunch more covers and tunes. But if you caught the start of this, I've been performing a lot, and it kind of means I haven't stopped to just sit down and play and get out camera gear and film and record, and I've been really enjoying the days off rather than setting up camera gear and pedal board and everything again to go. So yeah. Michael, I have a few shows and gigs coming up September 16 in Auckland. Awesome, man. September 16. Keep me posted on that. It'll be cool to catch you at a gig. So I got a couple of beautiful questions which I think are great. Bahio DJ from the mighty Instagram connected, and this is a really good question. Hello, how do you feel the crowd when you have 35 minutes in a show of looping art, and do you start a new song and start to loop different parts? Are the people bored? Excellent question. The magic of the first loop making process is no more alive at 30 minutes of show. Then how do you keep alive a long loop show? And so the thing that gives it away for me a little bit is in your question, brother, the magic of the first loop making process is no more alive. And it sounds like I may be interpreting this wrong, but it sounds like you've got the same strategy for each song to build your loops. So, which might be you lay a groove, you lay a guitar part, you lay the bass part, and then you start singing, as an example. So, I've got 3 suggestions for you that I wrote down, and I feel like this will be useful. But one is, if you're bored, the chances are your audience will be bored. If you're building your loop and you're feeling, okay, sorry guys, just bear with me, I need to build this, and then we can get into the song, they'll have the same feeling in general. And one thing I really like to do is, I stole it from magicians, but it's the art of distraction. So while you're building those first loops, if it's a long build, hopefully you're confident and comfortable with them. But you can chat to the audience, you can say hi, and have a laugh. But what happens is then there's engagement, you're having a bit of fun yourself. And what happens, suddenly your loop is built. Before, and people are like, oh, cool, awesome, we're into a new song. So the second thing, mix up how you're doing your looping. So if, for example, the first 2 songs you built the loop first, maybe in the third song you want to just start into the song. You're playing chords, you're singing, and then you build the loop as you start singing. So we're not, it doesn't become this familiar thing like, okay, we've got to wait 2 minutes now because we're building a loop. It's like you're right into that song. Or you just record maybe the 4 to the floor for something to give you a grounding, and then after the first verse and chorus, maybe you build some of your loop. So yeah, finding some different ways to create your loop so it doesn't follow the same formula. It doesn't just start and people become bored. They know what to expect. You're mixing it up for them. Thirdly, my last little thought was, if you've got a dance floor and that's the kind of thing you're going for, even if you don't, one thing that can be quite cool is to keep one groove going that then flows on to the next song. And yeah, you'll be able to work out when you're set what some options are on that one. So I hope that helps, brother. It's a really, really good question. Paul, I have 2 Harmony GXTs, one for acoustic and one for electric. Nice, pretty small bonus. I'm about to swap over to Ableton Live. Yeah, cool, but we'll continue to use the VL3 for loops and harmonies. Yeah, Ableton Live is a really good option, man. That's something I probably should spend more time in, but yeah, it just being able to, you've got so many more options once you know what you're running with it. Thanks also to Kiet about your new PRS. How you find it? Yeah, man, I talked a little bit, I don't know if you saw the video, it was one of the lives, I talked a little bit about it, but I'm really enjoying it, and funnily, one of the things, it's just so different from the Takamine, but one of the things I'm really enjoying, it's got a really solid bottom end and quite a crisp top end, which my Takamine had as well. But funnily enough, it doesn't pick up any of the body sounds. So which at first I was like, oh, okay, I have to change how I'm creating grooves and percussion on the guitar. But it's really a blessing, because when I would play louder shows with a PA, foldback happening, even with that feedback buster in, my my Takamine would get some of my vocals in, because I will loop while I'm singing at various times, and it was like a muffled me singing, which at different times was very noticeable. So I'm really enjoying it, man. I keep saying, and it just hasn't happened, that I'd love to do a little video on it. I'm not a huge some of you know I'm not a huge guitar person in terms of like knowing all the different details, all the specs, but it might be nice to kind of compare some tone things, mic it up, plug it in, and play around and just talk a little bit about it, obviously for you all. So if you've just joined, welcome along. It's nice to be back. I've had a busy weekend of shows, and so I would love to do more performing for you, to be honest, on some of these, and set things up, but I definitely need a day of not singing and pushing myself at the moment. So here we are. But the next question is from Craig. Dance list. You play a lot of gigs where listeners are dancing. What are your favourite 5 looped songs that always get people up and dancing? Really good question, and it'd be nice to share this. I'd be curious what everyone else's tunes are as well. But the first 5 that came to mind, and bearing in mind, I don't think I have anything that would be a guaranteed every single time, just depending on the gig and things like that. I remember being booked for a show, and this woman was, I just want everyone to dance. That's all I want. Awesome, great, come on board, let's do it. And when I turned up, set up, everyone had not seen each other in such a long time that all they wanted to do was chat and catch up. It had been so long since they'd all connected. So it was funny because I kind of started heading towards, maybe I can guide them towards getting up to dance. It was just like, no, they want to chat and catch up. Until maybe the last 5 or 6 songs where it was like, okay, we're going to have a quick dance before the night wraps up. So, bearing that in mind, these are the things that popped into mind today. Dance Monkey. There's a reason a bunch of loop artists online have covered it. It's a 4-chord progression. It's got a really cool groove. You can kind of do your own thing with it, I think, as well, quite easily, and turn it into your track. Dancing in the Moonlight. Obviously on the channel there's a more relaxed version, but it can be much more the dance tune and sped up a bit from how I did it there as well, which is cool. Again, same repetitive chord sequence. Another one I'm enjoying is Senorita, from Far Out. I gotta think who sings it. I love it when you call me Senorita. I've gone absolutely blank on who that's by. Hey Rain, how's it going? Hi everybody, if you've just joined, welcome along. We briefly interrupt this dance song loop list because I'm going to read your comments. Paul, I'm new to tapping a groove and I'm having issues with it. Yeah, I tap in a groove on channel B, just a bar, then play the rhythm on channel 1, but can't seem to make it work in reverse. Sure. And cool. We'll get to that in a bit. Tap a groove, then play the rhythm guitar, preparing solo. Sure. Yeah, it's good, man. I'll finish this list. I'm only mildly distracted. So, Senorita and Uptown Funk. Great little tune. Again, fundamentally 2 chords to loop with some nice breakdowns built into the song. That if you've got rhythm and, should we say, groove, your drum groove on one track and say guitar and bass on another, there's some great options to pull things in and out during that song. And lastly, classic Superstition. Again, depending on your crowd, but yeah, cool little tune to loop. And I think I do similar to what I've seen for a lot of people, is I loop the verses or the main A section, and that little B section, I kick on the octave and guitar, the OC3, so that I've still got that bottom end, and I just play those live. So yeah, I hope that's useful, Craig. Maybe it gives you some ideas to add to the list. Paul, yeah, mate, really good question. And I noticed this for myself, and what it came down to was I started listening back and being like, this is not working, and I was like, damn it, my rhythm sucks. That's a nice way of putting it, right? For me, I was like, and it's not that it sucks, but it's just, I realized it just actually wasn't tight. And the main thing was, I wasn't feeling the song or the groove before I started playing it. So I highly recommend doing that. Basically, you can sing along in your head. You can start feeling into the groove before you actually start playing the rhythm. And then one of the things that can be really useful as well is to play the rhythm through once and then start your loop with it. And it just tightens everything up, because basically with looping, what it comes down to is timing. And someone asked on the channel recently, they were like, Tash Sultana's loops are just beautiful. Locked in. So good. And then when you watch her perform, again, you'll see her movement, everything is in time. She's in the groove, very much. And the last little version of Jungle, a live version that I watched, again, she plays through that riff first. She's dancing, she's moving with it. She's really locked in already. And then from there, she's got a nice tight track. But if it speeds up and slows down, it makes it very tough, and most of us do it. We just, don't take it as a bad thing, brother. Most of us do it, and we speed up and slow down. And on a large scale, we speed up and slow down for usually like a verse. Most people will play slower, at a slower tempo. And a chorus, most people will play faster. So it's the same when it comes to the studio. And then you're playing to a click track and trying to find, like, what's the right tempo here? It's like, well, you've quite likely been playing it live slower, almost like in one tempo in the verse and a slightly faster tempo in the chorus. So that's, yeah. Yeah, Paul, that's it. Yeah, getting the song tempo right in your head before you start takes some getting used to. Yeah, for sure. And part of it, practice and test yourself. If there's a tempo that you want to play something at, see if you can. There's a bunch of things you can get an app on your phone that's got a tap tempo. But it means you can be at work, you can be on the bus, doing something entirely different, and just sing through, or imagine, feel through those first chords, and just tap out the tempo once you think you've got it locked in, and see how much it varies. It's a very curious experiment, but you'll notice on different days it changes quite a bit, and as you practice, as you keep doing the same thing, it'll start to lock in a little bit closer every time, which is awesome. Mondit, hey, how are you? I am good. My voice is tired from a lot of singing. I had a really fun weekend of shows, but yeah, definitely aware that I need to take a little moment to chill. So but it's been good. I've been editing a video shot for a bluegrass band in New Zealand, which is very cool. So literally after this session, I'm going to go back to editing and finishing that for them, which would be cool. Enjoying listening to that. I still have in the pipeline, it's going to be 3 videos because I took forever to figure out how to break it down into things that made sense. But some interviews with Mike McCarthy, and so I apologise because I know some of you have been waiting for that and it's just been forever. But yeah, how's everyone going? Is everyone else... in fact, I saw John Paul, I think, did your first show again the other week back over in the UK. So, and I've been seeing that happening more. So hopefully everyone's enjoying getting out and playing some music and having fun. But I think if anyone's got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll dive into them. Otherwise, we might wind up for this evening, and I will go back to editing some video and probably playing some guitar. just gonna give the voice a little bit of space this evening. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, fire them in, and we will dive into things. Otherwise, we will say see you later, and it's been nice connecting with you all. This is the point where I wait for anyone that's got, seriously giant questions. What do you think about Lava Me Too? I have absolutely no idea what Lava Me Too is. Should I know? What am I missing? Oh, it's a guitar by the looks. I have never come across it, if that's what we're talking about, a guitar. I have never come across it at all, so pass. I have a friend that has a carbon fiber guitar and he loves it. So there you go. Maybe that's where it's at. It's I have seen a couple of people that have been working on boats that have them. Great option. Different tone and things like that. But again, I feel with guitars, for me, I'm like, I go and play stuff and I'm not super critical on what it's made out of, who made it, that sort of thing. I'm just like, oh, I really like that. And then, yeah, sure, there's some technical info, but genuinely, most of the time, I'm like, I like it. It feels good. I plug it in. I play around. So, Ping, hi, just dropped by to say thank you for your Zoom L8 tutorial. Oh, thanks, brother. You're most welcome, and I'm glad it helped. That's awesome. Jacob, hey David, just found your channel a few weeks ago and have loved all your tutorials on looping for live performances. Do you have any tips for looping vocals along with guitar? Yeah, cool. Hey Jacob, nice to have you here, man. In terms of looping vocals along with guitar, the one thing I think, if you're going to be performing live, if you're at home in a studio type setting and it's quiet, it's not such a problem. But if you're live, you probably want a way to either mute your mic if you're not looping vocals, or I use a mic switcher. So if I'm just looping guitar, my mic goes into the switcher and then out to the desk. And if I'm looping vocals, I hit that switcher pedal and my mic then goes into the loop pedal and then out to the desk. So yeah, there's but in terms of the actual looping and process, it's very much the same as your guitar. Is get your levels set nicely. Again, figure out what parts what you're gonna loop, and then one of the best things I can offer is to just film yourself once you've got a loop. Once you think, yeah, that's working, just grab your phone. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just film yourself and watch back and have a listen back, and and you sometimes notice there's awkward bits where you're still concentrating, right? So then hitting the loop pedal, it's like, I noticed for myself, and maybe Paul, this is some of what we were chatting about before with timing and locking into a groove. But some things, if I haven't practiced the looping, whether it's with vocals, whether it's with guitar, getting the foot and hand to be automatic so that I'm still nicely in the groove, not going when I hit the loop pedal. So yeah, if there's anything specific, Jacob, then let me know. They're just my thoughts off the cuff. Rain Chaser, do you use a compressor going into your looper? No, I don't. I have been playing around with the idea of running channel 1, loop 1 on the RC300 out the sub output, so it's a separate mix, and that will become my grooves, which I would then, not going into the looper, but I would look at potentially applying through a desk a compressor and possibly even a gate, just to really tidy up that loop track. But it's not something I've actually done. It's just an idea I've been considering. So maybe you want to play around with it as well. We'll all find out together. But I know a few people that do run their rhythm channels coming out the sub output, so it's on its own output, and then they can EQ things differently, have it set up a little bit differently in the desk. You are most welcome. Paul, tips for looking after your fingers. Might get dry and cracked with 3 acoustic gigs a week. I now moisturise daily, which helps. I don't have any tips, to be honest, Paul. For me, I have a friend that had a real similar issue. I don't feel like I can really offer anything much for you in that regard. I know that I got the end of my fingers are always just I don't know, pretty solid and calloused from playing a lot. But I know that various people have offered me moisturizer and things like that for my left hand, my fretting hand, and I was like, I can't use it because then my fingers just soften. So, but it's not something I've really run into. So I'll let you figure out what might work, and if you have any great insights, then share them with us, and we'll figure it out together, man. Alright, Jacob, fantastic answer, thanks. I'm looking at picking up a Shure SM48 for my live vocals. Might spring for one with an on-off switch with your advice. Yeah, cool. Just be aware, again, depends on how you do it, but depends if you want to be if you've got hands free to physically turn it on and off. Entirely up to you. It's a great option. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you'll have to figure out with how you loop, if that's going to work for you or not. So yeah, very cool. Thanks everybody. I'm going to wrap up and go and do some video editing so that I can get this video done of this beautiful bluegrass band and send that to them, and then actually get some videos I've been promising for a long time on the channel. So thank you everyone. It's been really nice to connect in with all of you, and happy looping and playing, and we'll see you again soon with some videos on the channel. Cheers everybody.